from ServiceNow. I want to do a quick demo. So there's no specific storyboard or use case for that demo. I just want to demystify Stream Connect for Apache Kafka and show you some basic concepts so you can see on the screen, visualize what it does, and so you can better understand that offering. So I've configured, following the doc, the plugin necessary. There is a bunch of Integration Hub Stream Connect for Kafka plugin to activate. Then this is clear in the doc. I'm not going to go through that. And then when you go to topic, you can start configuring Kafka with a different topic that you need. So for example, I can click new, and I'm going to say employee info or data. Just in which namespace. I only have one namespace. I don't need multiple partition for that use case. It's just Kafka settings. So now I've created the Kafka topic. That Kafka with Stream Connect for Apache Kafka, when we talk about Kafka in that case, the Kafka environment resides in ServiceNow data center. It's hosted, managed by ServiceNow. But then you can leverage that infrastructure for your own need. Let's say you need to send thousands and thousands of records from your own Kafka environment to your instance. You can, instead of using API, you can go straight from your Kafka environment and replicate those messages to Stream Connect for Apache Kafka. So you don't have any problem with scalability, performance impact. You're basically leveraging ServiceNow Kafka deployment that we host and manage. So now I'm showing how you can create topics within that specific ServiceNow Kafka environment. And then we'll see how to consume those messages from that topic, how you can produce message from outside of the instance, and so on and so on. So now I have this employee info. There's a few things we can do there. Configure the namespace, look at the logs, this performance data and metrics. I won't go through this just now. I just want to quickly showcase the UI, show you a real time how I'm building something that leverage Stream Connect for Apache Kafka, so you can get a feel for it, better understand what you can do with it. So now I'm going to go in Flow Designer, because the whole point of using Stream Connect for Apache Kafka is to be able to engage on specific message coming to this message bus coming to Kafka. So I'm not going to go through any specific use case at the moment. We're just going to build a workflow that's going to consume a message or multiple messages from a Kafka topic, specific Kafka topic. So I'm going to call it Kafka consume message from employee info topic. So it's clear in my naming convention. Just in global. I know it's bad. This is just a quick overview. And now what you get with Stream Connect for Apache Kafka, you get that new type of trigger. There's many ways to trigger a workflow. Could be a change on a record, an update, a creation of a record. Here we want to trigger a flow when a message is coming to a Kafka topic, and we see the topic that I just created. There's some advanced option and how you want to start processing the message in the queue. Do you want to process from the end or from the earliest message in the queue, and so on? And how many messages you want to process per run of that workflow. If you want to limit, manually override the number of messages that the workflow will be able to kind of digest and process. So I'm just going to keep everything default. And now I can start doing like some loop. This is going to give me an array, as you can see, on the data pile messages, an array of messages that we're retrieving from that trigger. So because it's an array, I want to do it for each item, and I'm going to just pass this. So for each message coming that we capture with the trigger, we consume with the trigger in Flow Designer directly. In that case, I'm going to just say done, and I'm just going to do a log because I don't have a use case in mind. I don't know exactly what I want to do with the data, but we can build up later. Here's consuming the data coming from the bus, and then once we have the data as in the context of the flow, you can understand, and we can update an incident, create any type of record on the platform from the metadata that's coming to the bus. So now I can do a for each, and then I can get the payload directly. And the payload, I'm sending it in as a JSON format in the bus, the way when I'm going to produce a message to Kafka, you'll see I'm producing a very simple JSON payload. And so now I'm going to display that JSON payload directly in there. And because Integration Hub is awesome, we have JSON parse capability. I can, with no code, I can parse the JSON payload and leverage the value in those elements of the payload to create incident or do whatever I want on the platform. So now this is good. I can probably activate that workflow. So it's very simple. It's just grabbing data from the employee info topic. Now I need to produce a message. To produce a message, because I can produce obviously a message from a flow. We have a Kafka producer step in Flow Designer. Actually, I should show it to you before I show it from the Kafka client. I'm going to say Kafka, and I'm going to put my initials so I know it's Kafka produce. If you wanted to produce message from things happening on the platform to exchange specific ServiceNow metadata to the Kafka bus, you could use that beautiful Kafka producer step. So you can make your own reusable Kafka producer step using the Kafka producer step in Integration Hub. So you will define your input. And so what it is you need to pass from ServiceNow to that specific Kafka topic. And then here with the producer step, you basically select, okay, what it is the topic. So you could put the topic name directly or look that up directly from your instance and then put the message in the format that you want. And just this now will be a reusable producer step that you can use anywhere in your workflow to produce message in the Kafka topic. And then you can have your third-party application in your environment reading directly from that Kafka topic and grabbing, consuming those messages directly. So that step I was just showing in the action is to produce a Kafka message to send it to the bus. Right? So it can be consumed from outside of the platform. So I don't want to do this for my example. So here I've activated that Kafka consumer workflow. And so I'm going to be using the Kafka CLI. So this has nothing to do with ServiceNow. This is the open source Kafka client that I have on my computer. And I'm just going to use a command line from Kafka. You see it's a Kafka script. I'm just going to change the name of the Kafka topic I'm sending to. So I can send a message and we can see if this is enough to trigger the ServiceNow workflow that we configured together. So now I'm changing the command line, employee info, so it matches the name of my Kafka bus there. So here it's called employee info. So that should be good. And I'm sending a payload. So this will be when I read from the flow, when I read a message coming from that topic in my flow that you see there, we should be able to read the payload, the data in the payload. So here it's JSON format, because I just decided to send it as a JSON format. And the different parameter you get, once you configure Stream Connect for Apache Kafka on your instance, you'll get this information, which are actually the endpoint and bootstrap server, etc., for connecting your application or Kafka client to the specific endpoint dedicated for your instance. And there is obviously a producer.property file that you need to configure with the right certificate and key store, so we can do the mutual authentication from that Kafka client to your endpoint. So you can be authenticated and start sending message to the bus. So if I'm doing enter, it should send that data to Stream Connect, and this should trigger the workflow. So I'm gonna do it maybe 2 times. Wise one is sending me some message, which is fine. Let's see, what message do I get? That's interesting. Oh, it's saying unknown topic of unknown topic of partition. That's very interesting. I call it SN underscore stream connect underscore employee info. So I've put the wrong name. So I just created it, so I don't know if there is some latency. I have a feeling I can remove the SN underscore stream connect. So I'm gonna remove that piece because that's not part of my naming convention. So I'm gonna remove SN underscore stream connect, and that should work. The application ID is not mandatory. Here we go. So now I'm sending this, and this should work. See, it works way better. So I'm gonna send it multiple times just so we can see if I can get all those messages. So it's gonna send multiple times the same payload, but it doesn't matter for the example. So it may take a second or two, but one is sent. If I go here in execution for that flow, I should see some execution of the workflow. You see, 11:56 is kind of right away. And if I click on it, I can see if it works. So he has processed 2 messages that he got from the bus. So the Kafka trigger just worked fine. So you see he got the message with the payload, and he got it multiple times because I've executed the command multiple times. So he just received the message directly. And if I come back, sorry, I'm coming back, I can see here in the message, in my log, I get the payload. So you get the ID. From there, you could have a step or a subflow that's gonna parse the payload, take the values, and then you can use those values to do something in ServiceNow. Likely it's gonna be updating status somewhere in ServiceNow on a record, or using those metadata to create specific record in ServiceNow. When I say record, it could be any record in any table. It doesn't have to be incident, problem, knowledge base article, or cases, or it could be anything based on the use case. But that's one way of consuming data from Stream Connect for Apache Kafka from outside of your instance. How you could send the metadata to ServiceNow via Stream Connect. So just to recap, in my case, I'm using the Kafka command line interface that is sitting on my computer. It's not on the instance, it's outside of the ServiceNow instance. I'm using that open source Kafka CLI. Customers may have their own Kafka environment, and they may have hundreds or thousands of applications sending data to Kafka, to their own Kafka environment. What they will do is configure a replicator. There is a ton of third-party software out there to replicate data coming to a Kafka environment to another Kafka environment. So they will just configure that replication. So every time they produce a message in their own Kafka environment, it's replicated to Stream Connect for Apache Kafka to ServiceNow Kafka environment. So then you can trigger action and have workflows based on whatever business need you have. Or you can just use the Kafka function and code directly those Kafka commands from within application to directly communicate with the ServiceNow Kafka endpoint, the one that you see there, the Bootstrap server, etc. So this could be another solution. So I hope this is helpful just to visualize what we mean by Stream Connect for Apache Kafka and how you can use those new Kafka trigger and how you can produce a message as well. Thank you.